just want to open up with, the passing of Simone Edwards yesterday. I didn't know Simone personally. I'd last talked to her on the phone last June, coached against her, but, obviously just too short of a life. And it's a sad deal. We're excited about game day being announced to come here. There's only we're one of 3 locations in the whole country that has hosted a women's basketball game day. That's pretty amazing. It says a lot for our program. It says a lot for our attendance. It's going to be really, really fun. So I'm excited that we get that opportunity to host and show the nation again, what we can do here with Iowa women's basketball. But Nebraska's first. Nebraska's coming off a tough loss, overtime at Minnesota. I know it's going to be a great crowd. I guess they've sold 12,000 tickets already. We seem to bring out the best in everybody as far as their crowds. I think that's a compliment to our team. I think everybody wants to see our team play. They want to see Caitlin play, and so we bring out the best in a lot of attendance on the road. Last time we played them, we did not have McKenna. We won by 4. They had a 3 at the buzzer. But this is a team that's hard to defend because everybody shoots threes so well. They lead the Big Ten in threes made. About 40% of their shots are threes. They are they have so many outside weapons that it's hard to then become guarding your inside weapons of Markowski and Bourne, who both do a great job of posting up. So they're a tough team to defend. And like I said, it was a close game at our place, but we're looking forward to going on the road again.
The way you just broke down their team, you'd think they were, top 25 team, but they've really, really struggled this season. I mean, they're right on the edge of the NCAA tournament. Are you kind of surprised that this is kind of how the season has been?
A little bit, yeah, just because they returned so much from last year. But, yeah, I mean, they've lost their last 3. They did beat Michigan State. They won at Purdue. That's a good win. This conference is tough. It really is. And, I think Nebraska is a team that could potentially be in the NCAA tournament. And I'm on this committee where I campaign for the Big Ten, and they are definitely in my list that I try to, promote them to be in the Big Ten or be in the NCAA tournament.
Why are they so inconsistent? Is it just a matter where is it just their three-point shooting that when they're on they're good and when they're off they're not, or is it more than that?
I don't know. I feel like it might be more than that. I don't know. We held them to 30% 3 shooting at our place. But their average is 33 in conference. It's 33 overall. So it's not like that was that much lower. Then they average 8 threes, and they had 9 against us. So, that wasn't lower either. I don't know why, because to me, they're a very dangerous team. They really are, just because of the ability to shoot threes, how fast Sam Hybe is, that they have 2 really good players that can post up and shoot threes in Bourne and Markowski. That makes them a dangerous team to me.
When did you kind of first catch wind that game day might be interested in coming here, and how excited was the players when they found out in whatever way they did?
Yeah, I first caught wind. When was Rebecca Lobo here last time? Who were we playing? I can't remember who we were playing. Maryland game. I think that was the first time that discussions were happening, but that's when I heard about it. Could have been happening before that. I told the team after our Wisconsin game, I don't know if they realized how big of a deal it was. I think they were just kind of like, oh, yay, but they weren't like thrilled or anything like that. They weren't I don't know if they really understand the importance of that.
What does it mean to you? I guess you touched on it in the opening, but I think they started in 2005, and this is only the 5th time ever they've been to a women's game. First time they've been to a Big Ten venue for a women's game, certainly. What is that significance, on a show that, is pretty visible once you get into conference play and, everybody's kind of tuned in to some degree on Saturdays and the weekend?
I think it is remarkable for our women's basketball story here at the University of Iowa. Just, for us in recruiting, for us in our fan base, I mean, to be the only Big Ten school, it just shows you where our program is right now with the national respect. And again, the attendance is such a key part of that. So I'm thrilled. I think our team, maybe when it sinks in, they'll get it, how big of a deal it is. I think our students will get behind it and really have some fun with it. You should. It's a kind of, it doesn't happen very often. So I hope our students really get involved in it here too.
I don't have last year's numbers or even this year's numbers, but it feels like you guys have done a pretty good job guarding, the perimeter against teams. You've held some really good three-point shooters to, some pretty low numbers. What have you guys done, defending the perimeter that you feel like it has been so successful?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know where our numbers are now. I haven't looked lately. As to like what our synergy and all that stuff is for three-point defense. But you're right, we are holding opponents to 29% three-point shooting in the Big Ten Conference and overall to 28%. So you're exactly right, Kyle. We have done a good job with that. I haven't really thought much to why that is. We talk about all the time, we can't give up easy threes. We want to contest every three. That's, part of our defensive framework is that no open threes. And so I don't know if it's just really sinking in and our players are just doing a good job of moving in our zone and getting our hands up or, playing screens better. I don't know the answer to it.
You think your pace gets teams tired?
I hope so. We play at a really fast pace. And we're used to it because we do it every single day. And so we feel like in the fourth quarter we're going to wear teams down. And that's, something that we've talked about with our team is that we have to be in better shape because we want to do that.
We've talked throughout the year about, the veteran presence of this team and how, the focus has been there, pretty much whatever the challenge is. You look at, what's remaining in the regular season. Obviously, everybody's talking about Indiana now. Maryland, you don't really need any explanation there. What makes you confident and reassured, and how pivotal is it going into this game where, like you said, Nebraska has shown it can be dangerous in spots, and if you aren't focused on that, then none of the stuff after that could matter.
Yeah, and that's the same talk we had with our players before the Wisconsin game. They are a really smart group. They're mature. They understand the importance of every game. They know not to look ahead. Some of those things you have to really convince a young team, but not a veteran team. They understand it. They've been around, and so, this game concerns me because we only had a one-day prep because you have to take a day off. And so yesterday was our day off, and so we have one-day prep. Thankfully, it's the second time we've played them, and it wasn't that long ago, so that helps a little bit. They're still in their mind, a little bit. As to how they played, but today's practice is really important to us.
Lisa, what you said, I would like to know what committee you're on that.
The Midwest Regional Advisory Committee.
For the Women's Basketball Selection Committee?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Why does attendance play into game day, do you think?
I think they just want to showcase, an exciting atmosphere. Who wants to have a live national show in front of a dull crowd or in front of nobody, Nobody wants that. It's all about the hype and the excitement and building that up. And so I think that's why our attendance is so important in that.
Except that my understanding from what Bailey has said is that the game day part of it is way before the actual game. So are you anticipating that lots of people will come for that?
Well, that's our hope. That is definitely our hope. We're, letting anybody come in. We're letting students come in, up to 800 students or something like that. I think we've got bus service. We've got free food for students. We're really, trying to get the students to get out of bed and come over here to Carver on a Saturday morning and Sunday morning, excuse me. That might be even worse. But, we're really, trying to get the students to get out of bed and come over here to Carver on a Saturday morning and Sunday morning, excuse me. That might be even worse. But, we're really, trying to get the students to get out of bed and come over here to Carver on a Saturday morning and Sunday morning, excuse me. That might be even worse. you know, I mean, nobody wants to have a national televised live show with a dull audience, so that's why it's so important.
When can we expect announcement as far as players for, you know, your fourth-year players? Will that come before the season's over or after the season's over?
It'll
I
come
hate to
before
keep-
the season's over.
Okay.
Yeah, it will. I would assume that by next week, we should have some announcements on that.
Can you just talk about Monica's impact, like over her whole career, how she's impacted your team ever since she's kind of been here?
Yeah, I'm so thankful she stayed for her COVID, you know, 5th year. She didn't play a lot her freshman year, you know. She was backing up Megan and playing about 5 minutes a game. But then she burst onto the scenes. In my opinion, from where she was as a freshman to where she was as a sophomore was amazing. And I think she was I maybe not remember because you weren't here then, the 5th leading or field goal percentage shooter in her sophomore year, led it her junior year, led it her senior year. I don't know where she is this year. You know, when you have a weapon like that inside, it just makes everything flow so much easier. And then she's just a great kid to be around too. She's fun. She's full of joy. She's just a great young lady too. So her impact to our program has been immense. You know, we've had a really good center for a long time, and she's just kept that tradition going.
And how is she helping, you know, the younger posts develop? Is that something she's focused on too?
You know, I think sometimes maybe they don't. I think she definitely will give them advice, and you know, she leads by example. But it's up to the younger classmen to want to be that sponge, to want to learn. You know, that's how she was with Megan. Is she wanted to learn. You have to have that desire, otherwise, you know, somebody can tell you something over and over again, and it doesn't go too far. So. It's really up to the younger classmen to kind of like, wow, this is what I could be like if I worked as hard as she does.
Are you seeing that from?
Yeah, I think so. I think that Hannah's definitely showed that for us. You know, Sharon's career has been a little up and down with the injury, and that's unfortunate.
If you could somehow clone yourself and coach 2 teams at once, and this year's team faces the 18-19 team Megan's senior year, how does that game go?
Oh, my goodness gracious. Dargan, that might be the most unique question I've ever had.
You got me thinking when you talk about Monica's freshman year, because
Yeah.
she's the only player who was on both of those teams, so I'm curious how that matchup would go.
Yeah. That's the year we went to the Elite Eight, right? Yeah. Oh, my goodness gracious. I mean, we both had good seniors, both our centers, both had good point guards. Yeah, I mean, we had Hannah Stewart, which is kind of like McKenna Warnock, although McKenna shoots better from outside. And we were running a different offense at that point, you know. Yeah, you've got me on that one. You do.
How would you keep Doyle and Clark from getting in a fight?
Oh, that might be hard. Well, throw Tania Davis in the mix, too. You got, yeah.
Some personalities.
Yes, some pretty competitive people in there.
Jaz Shelley just went off against
She did.
Minnesota.
She did.
How do you sort of prevent, just keep her sort of in a normal?
Yeah, she really did. She had a great game. 36 or something like 38? What was it?
She had a ton in this 4th quarter. too.
Yeah. You know, I mean, you got to keep the ball out of her hands if you can. You know, you got to play screens because they're going to give her a ton of ball screens. She's going to get the most ball screens of anybody on the team. And, you know, she has the ability to step back and shoot a ball screen 3, which a lot of players don't have that ability to do. You know, and on top of that, she's averaging, you know, over 6 assists a game. She's a really nice player. She's a smart player. And shoots the 3 extremely well. So she should play start at the off guard, back up the point guard. So we'll have to rotate people who guard her as well. But really, I think to me, it's the key is just getting out on her threes because she takes 6 threes a game. That's a lot. You know, getting out and covering those threes is really important.
Is it kind of a different type of challenge to face a team like this where, I mean, they beat Maryland by like 25 early in the year. You talk about Jaz Shelley, what she can do. but then they also have nights, you know, where they lost to Minnesota or they don't shoot the ball well. Is that like a different challenge to face a team that's so up and down? You really don't know what you're going to get.
Don't know what you're going to get. Yeah, you hope you get a bad night, right? You know, then when they beat Maryland at Maryland, I believe Maryland had, I believe Diamond might have been out, but I'm not 100% sure. I feel like they were not at full strength at that game, but I'm not 100% sure on that anymore. Yeah, you don't know what you're going to get, like really. Even from half to half, like the first half against Minnesota, they did not play well. The second half, they played well. They took the lead. So, you know, they're down 11 points in the first half against Minnesota. So it's, you don't know what you're going to get. That's, you know, and you got to get into their heads, I think, early.
How nice has that been from your standpoint? Because your team's been pretty darn consistent this year. And
Yeah. I love it. It makes it so much easier to coach. Like, you really know what you're going to get every day. And we laugh about that as we're getting ready for games. Like, you know, in other years, sometimes it's like, oh, which team's going to show up today? But this group has been really very consistent. And it does make less stress on coaches for sure.
All righty, thank you.
Thanks, you guys.
We'll have Hannah Stuelke and Taylor McCabe.
Taylor, what are your thoughts about going back to Nebraska?
I mean, it's sort of weird in a way, but I'm really excited at the same time. It's been a little while since I've been back, and being a freshman, I know that can be challenging for a lot of people. You know, they need a big win here, truthfully, but I don't think we're gonna allow that. And I think I've heard they're getting a lot of people there, so I think it's gonna be a good environment, good atmosphere, and it'll be good for me to see all my family and friends. I'm really looking forward to it.
How many of your people will be there?
I've heard about 50 or 60 so far. I have quite a bit of family and a lot of friends that are going to school there, playing sports there, so it's pretty cool.
where was Nebraska on your radar as far as when you were being recruited? Did they show a lot of interest in you,
Yeah.
them, vice
Yeah,
versa?
I mean, they were definitely in my recruiting process. Amy Williams and I got along really well. She's pretty cool, and I competed against her daughter in a lot of high school sports. So, I mean, I saw her quite a bit. Yeah, they're a good program, but I'm glad to be here. So.
Did you play on that court, like for
Yeah,
state
we
tournament?
had our state tournament there, so I've played there a few times, hit a couple shots on that court. just a few. Yeah, my senior year we won a state championship down there, and I got to cut down nets at Pinnacle, so that's a good memory that I'll always have.
For either of you guys, how has Monica Czinano kind of helped you guys adjust to the college game, and for you specifically, Hannah, how does she help you like develop as a post player?
Monica answers all my questions. I ask a lot of questions, and she's always willing to answer them. Yeah, she's helped a lot, absolutely.
What would you say she's like as a mentor? I mean, is she somebody you go to a lot?
Yeah, I do. She's an amazing person, first, and she's an amazing basketball player, so whenever I need something, I can ask her, and I can count on her.
Lisa made sure to shout out your 3 for 3 at the free throw line after the Wisconsin game. I find that aspect of the game very unique because you have all these technical post moves and all that, but it's like you're just standing there and shooting the ball, and it's supposed to be the easiest thing, but it can be difficult. What has that kind of mental challenge been like with that element? Knowing that it's important, but also, it can kind of be tricky at times.
Yeah, I think it's a big mental challenge for me personally. I've always kind of struggled with free throws, so being on this stage and trying to focus in on it's just me in the basket, like trying to put those in, it's been pretty difficult, but I'm getting there slowly but surely. Yeah.
Is it just the simplicity of it that makes it so mentally tough to handle if you're struggling there?
Yeah. Yep. It's really simple. Just I make them all in practice. But you go from doing a lot of things at once and then trying to focus on just making a free throw, and it's pretty complicated for me, but
I would imagine that's one of the harder things to replicate in practice too, because,
yes.
like you said, I mean, 15,000 people versus, I don't know how many are in the practice team, not that many, but is that kind of one of the challenges that you've encountered, is just, you know, as many times as you practice it, you can't practice it in front of 15,000 people?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What was your reaction when you heard about game day coming here?
Say that again, sorry.
What was your reaction when you heard about college game day coming here
Oh,
for the
yeah.
Indiana game? Sorry.
Bluder let us know after the game, and it was just super, super exciting. You know, we're a very, very fortunate program to get to have this opportunity, and I think the fans and community are all super excited about it, as they should be. And yeah, we're just gonna look forward to it and make it memorable.
What do you guys think about the fans here? How does, when you're out on the court and the place is pretty nearly full, what does that feel like? Does it affect the way you play?
I can go. Yeah, you know, in recruiting and just, you know, watching the Hawkeyes, you definitely get to see that fan base, and that's something that stands out, especially for women's basketball. You don't get that a lot of places, and it makes it a lot more fun. It makes the game a lot more enjoyable. It also just, I don't know, serves a bigger purpose. Like, you know, you're impacting a lot more people when you're out there playing and performing and doing your absolute best. And no matter what, these people are going to support you, and I think that's another great thing about our fans.
Hannah, what is it about you, do you think, that makes you kind of a fan favorite? I mean, when you do something well, people get pretty jacked up.
I don't know. I feel like I bring a sort of joy to the game. I've always played happy like it. But yeah, I'm just happy to be out there. I work hard, just like everyone else. But yeah.
Do you think part of it has to do with that you grew up an Iowa fan, so they kind of know that you're, you know, one of those in-state kids that's always been an Iowa fan, so you're just kind of a fan favorite because of that?
Yeah, could be that, yeah.
How has your celebrity status evolved? I heard your mom talking about it on, I think, one of the
Iowa.
shows. Yeah.
It's evolved a little bit. We have people notice us, like, walking around the campus, and we were eating dinner one day, and a girl comes up and asks if she could take a picture with us, so that was pretty cool. Yeah, it's developed a little bit, but we're working to grow.
All righty, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, y'all.